Big Dutchman Spotlight. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our report and our discussion about best egg quality with AMACS Digital Egg Flow, a professional house and farm management. So today, Jan, we want to talk about EggFlow. Before we go more technical, can you give me some examples from the field how customers are dealing with the current challenges they have with egg collection?
Hi, Christian. Yes, of course. Today, we have many customers that are looking for increasing their profitability in an easy and efficient way. And one of the most crucial components on a commercial layer farm is the egg collection. We have installed the EggFlow successfully in many farms already, and we have seen that the time saving of up to 35% in regard to the egg collection is possible. And that's what we are going to present today.
Okay. So before we go more technical, I'd just like to know what are the main challenges they have today?
For sure. In the following, I will show you some great examples from the farms that we have seen in multiple cases. We see here on the pictures that the grader or also the dosing table is not fully utilized. And that means you have costly installed equipment which is not efficiently used and thus resulting into quite high running costs. Further on, we have the issue that there's too many eggs incoming at the same time, and that's because the grader capacity is calculated on an average of 300 eggs per hen housed per year. That means if you have multiple houses installed in one row and multiple houses are going into the peak performance for the laying period, you will have 92% and higher laying performance per house, and thus the produced eggs is much higher than the average, and thus a major challenge for the egg collection. We can also see in this small video here that there is already broken eggs throughout the dosing table, which is caused by the high amount of incoming eggs, which cannot be handled by the system.
So, and we can see this leaker in the movie. One leaker affects how many eggs? Is there any average available?
A rough indication is up to 80 additional eggs are going to be polluted if there's one broken egg on the dosing table. And that means in terms of biosecurity and especially for salmonella reasons, it's a very, very crucial point for food safety.
Okay.
Another great example that we saw in the field is that the customers or that our customers are getting also very inventive, and some inventions are very practical, but you can see directly in this video the eggs are piling up, and due to that you really have a hard pressure on each egg and therefore higher breakages than normal.
Yeah, this seems to be a really nice homemade solution. But okay.
Further on, our customers are also willing to pay more to handle the egg amount per house. So that's why some of them even installed 2 curve conveyors in one house to have the capability to handle all the produced eggs per house. But certainly that also means there's more operating components on this farm. So you need more service and maintenance. You have more spare parts because the wear and tear on each component is higher. Plus, you operate the double amount of drives, which leads into a high power consumption.
So this is really high running costs. And we know there are more farms that have even more cross conveyors. I have seen up to 5 or 6. So this, it's a lot of power that is needed.
Exactly. And that's also one of the major points which we are going to see on the following slide. Here we do see a farm layout with 16 houses, and each house has an individual house conveyor. The house conveyor goes on to the main conveyor, and the main conveyor is then going into the central packing station. This is a biosecurity fact, because then the customer is really able to collect each house independently, and due to that there's many spots which are very hard to track.
And it's a matter of organization as well. So because everybody needs to know where is the next belt that I can switch on or off. So you have to organize it well. So how do they do it? WhatsApp or what is the...
That is actually one of the points which is coming up from the customers anytime. And the farm staff also reporting that is telling that they run either to the individual houses or they really text or call each other while the egg collection is running.
Yeah, okay. So challenging.
And here is an example, and it shows you in the small video how the transfer point is operating. So the eggs are coming from the house onto the main conveyor. And obviously, this transfer point can cause a lot of breakages when the main stream on the curve conveyor is running as well.
Yeah, and there's a lot of money on the ground, as we can see. So also a point of optimization.
Another major aspect, especially nowadays in the European market, is the alternative layer management and also the egg production in those houses. The birds actually tend to lay the egg closer to the nest partition walls. And that's why you get a huge concentration of eggs on the egg conveyor belt, which is behind the nest. And due to that, the high concentration of eggs needs to be handled very well in order to make sure that the sensitive eggs are going to be transported onto the main conveyor. But Christian, I think our solution can handle that as well.
Yes, for sure. But before we go to that, we talked a lot about things workers need to do on the farm. I think the workers today, they are becoming more and more seldom good workers for sure. So how do your customer deal with this problem?
Absolutely right. The fluctuation on the farm, on the staff, is quite high, and that's making major issues when it comes to the farm management in total, especially on the egg collection, because the customers need to operate the farm in the most efficient way. But if you have a high fluctuation on the staff, it's hard to control and to have constant running costs. So they tend also to look for more automation on those farms.
So now we want to talk about technical solution, and this is a view that our customers see when they have our product MX3. So we see the farm overview in the background at the moment, because in the front we can see the picture from the grading process. That's also shown on the EggFlow master control next to the grading machine. So I like to explain a bit more in detail what is EggFlow and how does it work. I have just made a small example here. So on the left side we see the grading machine, the in-feed of the grader, and now this is our cross belt with all the motors. So what we do with AMACS EggFlow is we make it visual. So we creating a visual overview about the real process, so to say a digital twin. And having that available, we can see the information on the cross conveyor. So the white area, what we show, are the eggs, as you can see on the left. And then we get all the information from the houses. We can see it here up front, up top. And there we have, for example, all the egg counters bringing in the information. We have additional information from this sensor that's creating pulses for the progress of the belts. The definition from us is that once the egg belt moved from the end to the front, this is 100% collection. So there should be more or less all eggs collected when this has been reached 100%, but we know that sometimes it takes much longer because the birds do not lay permanently, so this is a time over 6 to 8 hours. With the information from the counters, we build the information on the cross belts and show the filling rate per meter. We have another sensor at the grader. He is detecting when the belt is running, so we have a permanent flow in this. I will later show a simulation. So we have now also an option, as always, options. So there is a possibility to do some kind of stepless EggFlow control. And stepless egg flow control is so to say the Mercedes of the egg flow systems, because here you create more or less no cracks, you can say, and reduce the cracked eggs extremely. So how that is working, we will show later. One word about the counters. So we have, for example, an egg cam counter that is a camera-based egg counting system, so it has the highest accuracy, but there are also other counters available. At minimum, you should normally use 2 counters per row, but you can also place them on each longitudinal belt to get much more management information so that you can see how the egg performance is in the individual tiers. Now, as I already promised, we go to the simulation. So now we switch to a video that we have made, and we will see it now here. Yeah, so here we see a simulation of a complete process. And yeah, we have 3 lines of cross belts, 9 houses, and they are all collected. And they all have these kind of transfer belts that we have seen in your small video, where it's so difficult to manage. And this is just displayed here at the side. So in the morning, before the people come, we can start the system automatically. So with the start time, the system can start according to a predefined collection procedure. So the farm manager has to tell the system the day before what kind of houses do need to be collected at the same time. And the video will show it here, how that is working. Now we can see that, yeah, here we have brown eggs. This is why this is here brown now. So the brown area, that are my eggs, and the system will automatically start everything. And once the egg flow reaching the grader, then it will automatically stop. Again, when the people start work in the morning, they will start the process again, and then we are coming in normal phase. So why do not all houses need to be collected at the same time? Because we have different collection groups, and this collection group is depending on, for example, the type of feed that the birds get. If there's a special feed type, for example, omega-3 eggs, they need to be collected separately. But I think we have a nice picture from different collection groups and the need for it.
What you can see here, ladies and gentlemen, is that we have the same egg packing station, but obviously we are having 2 separate egg collection groups. This customer was especially requesting to separate the egg collection groups in his houses, and therefore collects brown eggs and white eggs at a later stage during the egg collection time.
So now the people are coming and they doing the work. Here we can see the further collection groups running in, and the process here to go for a collection group, I just went back a bit, shows that there is a need, for example, to mix the eggs, but you can also divide it up. As we have seen with the white-brown eggs, we need to divide up. But if the eggs are more or less the same, but we don't want to overfill the egg belt, we need to make some groups also, and by that we need to mix it. We are allowed to mix so that the machine will still run full. So with the running process, we can see here that everything works like expected, and that we're now moving from 2 different groups, and group by group will be filled up. And you can see also how the houses get empty, run empty, and at the end, the system will automatically stop everything so that we can see there is a defined end and no empty belts with a few eggs on it.
Christian, that looks quite impressive. So if we now look to your picture, we can actually say in house 3 there was 20,996 eggs counted?
Yes, that's right. So you can get the detailed information via each individual house, and you can also see it depending on the installation level of the egg counters, more detailed per row or per tier if installed per tier. And this is the result. We have in the beginning phase already full belts on the right side, so that's what you can expect with EggFlow, as maybe in other installations you're starting with really empty belts. So we have made this test when we tested our EggFlow on a farm where we have placed 2 similar systems next to each other to compare it. And that was a video of that installation. And on the next page, you can see this is the normal process when the workers are there. And yeah, that's how it looks.
On the video on the left, there's quite a lot of start and stops. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So that's not egg flow. That's yeah, standard more or less. You can see it everywhere because yeah, it's a matter of how many eggs are coming. Sometimes it's too less, sometimes it's too much. There is no permanent regulation in it. And yeah, did you count the numbers of stops in that short 30 seconds video?
I think it was already 8 stops.
Yeah, you have seen the video already, I know. Okay, so let's go for the next picture. I promised to show something about stepless egg flow, and this is stepless egg flow with the additional sensors that you can see here. They are measuring the pressure that the eggs create when entering the machine. And by that, we can react on that, stepless. So you can see it in this area here. When you look on this area, that this is slowing down when there are a lot of eggs. But just for a few seconds, and then it will speed up again. And you can also use the frequency converters to speed the complete crossbelt up to 60 hertz. So it's faster than normal, 20%.
But that's done automatically.
That's automatically with a few presets, for sure. Okay. Yeah, the system also supports lifts and elevators, for sure. So lift will be automatically driven up tier by tier. And if you have installed egg counters, you can also get the results from the individual egg counters as well.
So, Christian, what is actually needed from Big Dutchman's side to get EggFlow running on my farm?
Yeah, you need, as always, computers. Without computers, nothing works. So we have here a possibility to use a standalone system, so that you can use for existing farms. If you have to build it afterwards, after it has already been installed, as an add-on. And you can also use a full-blown AMACS, so to say, where everything is running with AMACS. Ventilation, feeding, manure drying, all these things are included. And then maybe it looks more like on the right picture, but this, I think, was for a very big house, right?
That's correct. We will see later on.
Good. So a few more details. So as we have seen, there is this big touch controller here, the EggFlow Master called, where the people from the packing station see the packing and all the when the eggs will arrive and things like that to organize themselves. And to the right, there are the host controllers if you have a full-blown AMACS, and then you have the farm controller. And you can also connect your mobiles to receive alarms or to just observe it.
Very impressive. And tell me, Christian, there's always a premium. Are there any upgrade possibilities?
Yes, for sure. You can, our customer told us that they want to have additional information. They want to see and exactly know where's the problem. And they do that we do that by adding some inputs. And these can be used, for example, to show when there is a motor alarm. So green means they are okay. They would change to red if there is a problem. The same is with egg crack monitoring. That means we have a sensor next to the motor of the crossbelt system, and when there is something missing because of breakage, then the system will immediately stop and prevent that all the eggs will fall down like you have shown in your video. There is also the possibility for the transports when it's going from one belt to another to have extra light beam sensors detecting that there is a problem, an egg jam, whatever. Somebody put something to manual. And but also if somebody was hurt on the farm and you have to press the emergency button, it will be displayed here. And you have a quick, short reaction time to start some rescue. So that are the options. I hope that's enough for you. If you have more, just talk to us. Jan, your customer, what do they report about EggFlow? That's more. I think that's more important for the people. Listen to this video.
Absolutely. I will now give you some examples from the field. So here we have a great example actually from China with a very huge layer operation of more than 3 million layers. And the production manager there told us after installing EggFlow, he had such a reliable system that the performance was in general above 95.5%. And such a reliable egg collection he has never seen before.
That's really good.
Here we do have a great example from a standalone solution. We can see on this farm layout 8 layer houses with 2 central conveyors. So all the houses directly transfer the eggs onto the central conveyors and then they go into the main packing station. This customer actually started his farm without EggFlow and he then started to grow and he requested a solution for his egg collection. And then we came up with EggFlow and we had tremendous results here because we could reduce the egg collection from 10 to 11 hours per day down to 7 to 8 hours for 1.25 million layers.
So that's the 35% you earlier told us
That's
about.
the 35% I was
Okay.
referring to earlier, exactly.
Okay, perfect.
Another great example is the fully AMACS package. On this farm, we have 1.8 million layers. And this customer requested, before he actually built this farm, that we come up with a solution to collect the eggs of 1.8 million layers within 8 hours. And in that operation, we installed the EggFlow solution, and the customer operates it with more than 92% in average, greater efficiency, and we achieved the goal to collect the eggs within 8 hours.
That's really good.
Last but not least, we come to an alternative layer management house here from Germany, which is a family-owned farm. In each house, we have 42,000 layers in barn production, and they have installed as well an egg packer with a capacity of 30,000 eggs per hour, and they wanted to have it fully automated. So even for this capacity, the EggFlow already makes sense because on this entire farm is only 2 people working and managing the entire egg collection.
So even for smaller farms, you say this makes sense. I think they also nowadays using robots on the farm, right? So
Exactly. This customer is also having a palletizer on his farm, so he's taking automatically the trays from the packer onto the big pallets. And this customer had the request to fully automate his egg collection and to have a reliable solution also for a 2-day egg collection was then the EggFlow, especially on the alternative layer management. Like earlier mentioned, we have the bulk concentration on the egg belt inside the house. And to operate this egg concentration, the EggFlow handles the complete egg collection fully automated.
yeah, as it should. Impressive. So I come to a conclusion. You named this "Go with the Flow," and I fully support that. Reduction of collection time is the most important thing here, but also reduction or reduced stress on the belt system, best egg quality, and optimized packer handling for the stuff on the farm. Yeah, so do you like to add anything?
Last but not least, what we can say is that the return on investment on this solution can actually be less than 1 year, especially when your farm is already operating at the maximum greater capacity. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attention. If you have any further question on this product or in this solution, feel free to contact us. Our sales colleagues from around the world will be available to answer all your questions.
Yes, goodbye.